You know, when I put when I share a lot of what I experience in all the videos that I have, based on what I've become aware of through what I've learned through others, what I share with others, the relationship that we have with all of creation, which for me is always going to be what love is. It goes on forever. So the reason I share this at this particular moment is because of what I become aware of and the relationship that it has with all the others at this level of creation. Okay. Or if you will, the level at which we operate at this level of creation. Okay. So when I was a child, I had a frame of reference, which meant that no matter where I go, I experience what love is, which is free energy, which means it flows right through you. Okay. And that essentially means that you have no want of need. You don't need any energy from anybody else in order to experience whatever you choose to experience, from which energy makes that happen. The love energy naturally makes it happen with no effort. That's a completely different way to translate how we experience who we are as purifiers. Okay? And which is one of the reasons why yesterday, when Aaron and I talked about, you shouldn't have to pay for anything. And how was that translated through a purifier? Because we don't sell love. Eternal love is the light is always on, because the amount of fire that is in that light, which is purifying that light, is not in want of any need, because we already have everything that we need with the purest of energy that represents what we are in spirit, integrated with our soul. Okay? So when you think of what a corporation is, it's always selling things in order to use the money to invest in other activities that they're thus going to do, because that's how they perceive creation taking place, which is essentially artifacts. They're not manifesting anything real that goes, poof, look what I just created out of my own creative imagination, out of the purest of love through which it came. So when you have, like, for instance, when my clan mother posted the documents in the international court to go after the queen, right? And if you've read through these documents, and I believe she still has them up on her Facebook page, either Kaluk or Karen Ann McDonald, 13th Arcturian White Bear Clan, right? You can read through those documents that she has the command authority as a clan mother, right? Because that's how it's set up with Gaia, okay? And so therefore, she can issue these commands, and they have the enforcement, the ultimate enforcement of all the light, because love is a law. Okay? Guy knows that. I know that. We all know that live in the light. So this is the difference between a corporation, or what we call commercial law, commerce, versus trade. So now I'm going to use my energy in a creative way to take from nature what nature is already giving us for free, and then convert it into something that we perceive has value because of the energy that we used in our cellular organisms to produce it, like a Navajo rug, right? An Indian rug, a horn, an instrument, whatever it might be. You love to work with wood, therefore you got to cut a tree down or find dead wood, build a chair out of it, or some artifact, because now it's going to run on dead light. Because something that was living, which is living energy, now becomes dead energy. Okay? That's how it works. So when you're selling a blanket and it came from something that was living, unless that particular blanket is experiencing through its ley lines and its grid the purest of light, which is the purest of love, then that's the energy through which it's going to be experienced. Therefore, for example, if you needed a horse and I have a horse, I'll be more than happy to give you my horse because you don't have any transportation. And if you experience yourself not being in fear to give the horse that you were using away, because you already know that love will take care of the way, the pathway that you're on. So now I'm back on my own 2 feet. I will manage, because I was born coming out, okay, of my mother's womb, just exactly the way that I came out. And by the time I was able to stand on my own 2 feet, now I have my 2 feet as a method of transportation that we used to call foot leather express. So when you naturally gravitate to want to be with the great living spirit of Mother Earth, she already provides you everything that you need. Okay? So you can imagine what it's like with her being able to experience purified spirit that is in the purified water, spring water, mature spring water, right? The elementals are all working together in harmony with all the other elements, with our spirits, that are all experiencing the purest of light, which is the purest of love, which is the purest of fire, upon which we experience what that is in that world. That's a completely different frame of reference when you're here and you're experiencing all the big box stores, where now you have to spend your energy to acquire more energy, in order to acquire more energy in the form of artifacts that came about as a result of harvesting something that was living, that it now becomes dead light. Now we can trade dead light for dead light. Does that have value? What has the greatest value? Love has the greatest value. So if there is love, that you used your energy as free energy, that you put it in something of your own free will, of your own free spirit, that is purified, then the purity of the love that is in you will be experienced by what it is that you created, that is the purest of love, from which it is made manifest into creation. So when you hand something to somebody, you're giving them something for free, because the love that is made manifest into what that is that you share with others is a gift. So we gift electrons. We don't sell anything. We actually don't need to trade anything, because we already have everything we need. So I realized as a child, when I'm translating the world that I'm in as a fallen spiritual system, and I begin to realize from what I was born into, which is represented by eternal unconditional love, the environment is translated a little bit differently. That's why as a child, I realized that I don't use my energy in the same way that others use their energy to defend themselves, and use their energy to build a weapon in order to protect who they are at this level of creation. And that comes from the perception of value. What has the greatest value? So when you begin to realize, as I did as a child, for example, I used my creative mind to take something from nature, a raw material, iron, if you will. Okay, and now I'm going to slam it like, what do they call the ironsmiths? A blacksmith. They used to call it blacksmith, right? Pound it and make a sword. Make a bucket. Make anything that has a value. For example, to a guy, it might be, hey, great, I can use that as a tool. Okay? To a woman, it might be a straw basket. But it takes energy in order to make those things. So now if you have a need for a bowl, somebody else has a need for something else, then you begin to realize it might have value to somebody else based on their perception of what has value. So when I was a child, I naturally realized love has the greatest value, because love is free energy. So that means that anything that I use my energy for, which is what love is that goes on forever, I'm not going to charge you anything for what it is I'm using my energy, which flows through me, which is what love is that goes on forever, and charge you something that represents what love is, which has the greatest value, which doesn't have any charge. No charge. See how that works? The center point of all creation has given us everything that we need in energy, because that's what love is. It's free energy. That's what unconditional love is. So you can see how that works here. So if I use my creative mind to create something because I need energy as a result thereof from the use of my own energy, then let's say that it's a particular brand of technology that I've come up with because I become aware of another technology used by another race or another star system, right? And then I realize that has value because of the perception of what I know would have value for another race or another star system in another galaxy or another universe. So that's a perception that we have of what we have value. What has the greatest value to ourselves versus what might have the greatest value to another, the other.